Back May of 2009, I was over at the Mulberry Cafe having coffee at the round table, and got word that the bakery was going to close up. I had heard about it before that it was going to sell, but we'd never heard that it was actually going to close. So came back, and at lunchtime, Bubba was at lunch, and Beaver, and one of the reserves, and we brought up at lunchtime that the bakery was actually going to close, and a lot of places were closed. And I says to Bubba, why don't you go call the owner and see if it's true?
Yeah, and we were worried about our town. There was a lot of closed storefronts, and the bakery had been here forever. And so I got up, and of course we knew the owner, and I called the owner, and he told me, he said, yeah, it's the rumor is true. I'm going to close it. And he said, I've been trying to sell it, and nobody wants to buy it, and I don't want to do it anymore. And so I came back, and I said, guys, you know, the bakery's going to close. And the joke is, of course, that the town's only donut shop was going to close. And so we had to do something, but the other part of that is that this is a historic business. It had been here since 1896, and we didn't want it to close. And we kind of talked about it amongst ourselves about what would happen if we bought it.
So I went back before that lunch was over and called him back up and said, hey, we're thinking about taking it over. Would you lease it to us with an option to buy? And he goes, well, sure, anything to keep it open. I says, well, give us a price right now. If you've been trying to sell it, you've got numbers together. So in that very first conversation that we had, in the second phone call back, he gave us the price and was willing to lease with an option to buy. We told him that we wanted a 60-day out in case it wasn't working. We'll give you a 60-day notice and get out. And over the next 2 weeks, we met on 2 Sundays down here with our wives and the other full-time officers. And in 2 weeks, we decided to do it. I took a couple days off. We put it all together and opened on July 1st.
I think there's some people that think there's the police and then there's them. And we're such a part of our community. We blend with our community. And I've never felt that here. I mean, there's people in town that may not like the police, but overall, I think they see us as part of the community, not a separate entity from them. And the bakery has even helped improve that, because they see what we do in our community and the things that we do to help people in our community, and they see that we do care about our community. It's not a show. I mean, we really care about our community.
We've had some children that were victimized, and they were afraid to have the police come, but they remember the mother that brought the boy up from Mount Pleasant. It's not even our jurisdiction, and but he didn't want the police. He said, take me to Cops and Donuts and I'll talk to him. So they drove up from Mount Pleasant, they got here, and then we got them in contact. It was a domestic violence situation where the father assaulted the son. It was an argument between mom and dad, and it carried over to the boy, and he was the one that got assaulted and scared to death, and she was scared to death, and she wanted to just leave and go straight to the police department. He was too scared to go there, and he goes, let's go to Cops and Donuts. So they came here, we got them hot chocolate and a donut, and waited for the police to make the contact. Yeah, it's cool that they feel comfortable enough to come here. You know, it used to be that, when I was growing up, everybody was comfortable running to the cops, but now not all the parents raise their kids that way. And I'm not saying that was that situation there, but it's just cool that they felt comfortable enough to come here.
In some ways, we've almost become a liaison between the police and in our community, because I've had many people come in here and say, this happened, do you think I should report it, or, who would I call, or whatever, and they're a little nervous about just going down to the police department, so we've kind of become that buffer. That actually happens quite a bit.
Again, if there's something major that happens in their lives where they're needing assistance, we come in there, hopefully deal with whatever problem, and then we leave. They don't know us as people. And the great part about having this particular business, we can walk in here, we can mingle with people, we can introduce ourselves. They understand that we're real people as well. So that certainly has helped us. Absolutely. One of the reasons why we have the patches on the wall, they can come down here and say, oh, this is where my cousin or my brother's from, or my friends, and be able to have a connection between law enforcement, be able to look at these walls, look at the history behind all law enforcement here. Look around this place, you see nothing but history. And it takes, I still do it, it takes hours to be able to walk around here and see all the history that we have in all different departments. I don't want some mass-produced type thing, some donut that we can just go and put everywhere. We care about the product that we're putting out, we care about what it is we're trying to represent, and we care about our downtown area, and that's what we're trying to focus on.
When the whole thing came up, I really had no idea. Personally, I think I'd probably been in the bakery 2 or 3 times since I've lived here since 1999. never thought twice about it. Was very concerned with, more businesses closing downtown, and I thought at that time, with the way financial markets and things are going, I said, we really don't have anything to lose. It's a great idea, and who knows, maybe we'll be able to employ a few people and keep them working here. So from that point to where it is now, you could have bet me $1 million and I wouldn't have taken the bet. Rhino and Bubba, the guys that were born and raised here, it was an icon to them, and it was a staple in the community. And when you would drive down here through town 6 years ago and see all the empty storefronts, it would start to become a reality to you, like, are we going to become a ghost town? And now you drive down through town at any given time of the day. I actually get irritated because I can't find a parking place out in front of here, and then I realize that it's all for the good. I'll walk 2 blocks to get to the bakery, and you see license plates from out of state. The majority of the people that are in and out of here aren't local. They're here to see this bakery, and for me personally, to see how it has affected the rest of downtown to where we don't have an empty storefront now is phenomenal. And I guess the cocky side of us, for lack of a better word, will say we did it. We filled up downtown because people are now, they see activity down here, business people do, and they want to be part of it. And we want them to be. Our goal, here was to bring more people to downtown Clare, because when it does, that affects everyone. And there's hundreds of positive police things going on every single day. Every single day, a police officer saving somebody's life, a police officer stopping something from happening, or a police officer just reaching down and shaking the hand of a child that made that kid's day. Those things go on all day, every day, but we don't hear about it. Our story here it's unique, but it's nothing that I don't think police officers all over, that if they had the opportunity, would try and do it to give back to their community.
I want Clare, along with us, to be the place that everybody wants to stop. Clare is centrally located, and I love it when people are traveling through and, we've got to go to Clare, we've got to see all the neat little shops that they're putting in, and that's what we really want. And on our billboard, we don't put an address, we just put downtown Clare. We're trying to bring people to Clare.
We've had people come in like that and say, I drove around for 5 minutes and zigzagged through the blocks, and then I finally found it. Why don't you put a better location? And I say, great, that's exactly what we want you to do. We want you to come down here and drive around. Clare's a small little downtown. You're not going to drive around for hours. You can drive around for 5 minutes and see what else there is here, and then find us.